across the country.
Devastating storms. Yep. Fires.
So you've got 3 major hurricanes plus a ridiculous kind of fire, right? And so what does that mean? Somebody's going to rebuild. Where are all the contractors going to go? Where are all the materials going to go? Yeah. And somebody who's really smart is going to buy a $30 sheet of plywood here, cart it over there, and sell it for $90. So, so I'm just telling you that's going to happen. So how to overcome the contractor shortage? So first of all, learn how to build a team. Who amongst us has been a manager somewhere in your lifetime? Manager, maybe a coach, team player. This is all about knowing how to run your team. Sometimes you got to really sit on your contractors. Sometimes you have to fire them. Sometimes you have to coddle them. Sometimes you treat them to beer and pizza. Whatever it is, you got to learn how to manage a team. And so that's number 1. Number 2 is do things that don't require contractors. Now, a lot of us like to write checks. I said I don't do rehab. But if you can do things that don't require permits, painting, doesn't require a permit, things that don't require a permit, maybe there's things you can do yourself. That's going to be a good thing. In other words, don't tear down walls, because every time you tear down a wall, all of a sudden you expose all kinds of things. And who knows? We're doing a 2-family right now, and my stepson's doing the 2-family, so it's not my fault this time. I did do a 4-family, and that was my fault. Whereas we opened up the walls, and as soon as we did that, we found out the electrical they had combined knob and tube with the next type, and they wired it together and no boxes. Fire waiting to happen. And then they had put in ductwork for the air conditioning, but they notched out the support beam.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now my GC said this building will probably keep on standing for another 50 years, but once you know this, you can't let it happen, right? So, and then our biggest thing is to get referrals from experienced investors, people that you network with, networking meetings you go to, showing up at CTRIA month in and month out. I'm constantly asking everybody. I just sent you guys a referral for an electrician, and, we constantly doing that. These are the people that are going to be critical to your business. First of all, your teachers and mentors. Who are you going to learn this business from? Lots of great information in books, by the way. You can find out just about anything in a book. But, I know that we've all Connecticut, for some reason, got bombarded by people flying in from everywhere. All the celebrities are coming in. They don't come, but their people come in. And the last week of September, there were 26 preview meetings in Connecticut from all these other companies. And then they come in, they sign you up for something, and then they leave town. And I did that too when I got started. I flew all over the country, and then I found out they did not know how to spell Merriman. So they couldn't help me in my local things. So I recommend you find people that are local to you to train you in this business, and also do this business ethically and are willing to share information with you. And also that they're going to be accountable to you. Free advice is worth that. I mean, sometimes free advice is worth a lot, but again, they're not accountable to you. The second thing is your local colleagues. You can watch their business, you can see what they do. If they're around more than a year or 2 years, they're probably doing business the right way. And then finding vendors and service providers that understand us as real estate agents. So we already talked about, as investors, We've already talked about real estate agents. And some of them, they love pretty houses, and they love but they love taking families from house to house to house to sell beautiful houses. That's not going to be the agent for us on the buy side. It would be on the sell side for sure, right? Kent is an attorney. There's many attorneys, but he knows our business inside and out. So you want to work with an attorney who understands real estate investors. So, one of the things at the Connecticut Real Estate Investors Association, we have a whole service directory with sponsors that know our business. And if they don't take care of our members, then we cancel their sponsorship. So therefore, they do a good job for us. In other words, you need a team. You cannot do this business by yourself. I'm sorry, you just can't do it. It's a contact sport. So how do you build your resources? So we have our big event next weekend. I'm super excited about it. I'll tell you more about it in a little bit. You should definitely join the Connecticut Real Estate Investors Association if you haven't done so already, because we're here year in and year out. And then we have a course called Real Estate 101, which is a really good foundational program, which we're in the middle of teaching now, but it's also online. So those are the three main resources that I can offer you today. So let's talk about the strategies to focus on. One is going to get you cash, and one that's going to build wealth and income. So we need cash, right, to pay our daily bills. That's what we need right now. So don't quit your day job. For those of you who have regular jobs, keep them, because that gives you cash month in and month out, right? And then we need long-term income. How many of you have kids in college or about to be in college? Pretty expensive. Anybody have parents you're supporting because they're getting older in life? Yes, back there. And, and then we need money, so we want to retire someday. So long-term income is kind of a good strategy. Just real quickly, because I know a lot of you guys know this stuff, but the ugly houses, these are the easiest ones to flip. You're going to wholesale or retail, buy, fix, and sell on that. And pretty houses, you can also wholesale them or use some creative financing strategies. We were talking about this earlier today. You can rent these out for long term. Get good people in there to do that. By the way, this is, if you want income, buy for the long haul. Lauren talked about this one. You want to get comfortable with leverage. In other words, stocks you have to pay $175 stock. But real estate, even in worst case scenario, you have to put down 25 to 30%. You're still leveraging that property because somebody's giving you the other 70%. And I have to remember that because I complain if I don't put on that much money because I get spoiled. But really, you can buy a $200,000 asset and only put down $40,000 for the deal. And then you get to depreciate the building. So you depreciate your building over 27 and a half years. So you get a lot of money back every single year. Most real estate investors buy homes people don't pay taxes, and it's not because they're doing anything wrong, it's because they're taking a good advantage of the tax. I just thought I'd share this deal with you for a minute. This is because some of you guys don't actually know what I do in my business, so I thought I'd share the deal. The one on the left came to me from a wholesaler. He knew me from the Connecticut area, and he said, I got a deal, and I know you're in business, and I want to do this. I said, sure. So I advertised in the newspaper. I used to do that. It was long before Craigslist. And I advertised in the newspaper, and his brother and sister came to me. But before that, the owner, his name was Dominic, and Barb was going to be at the Dominican. So we sat, after we walked through the house, we sat in the backyard. They had the grapevines, they had the pizza oven. I mean, these typical Italian gentlemen. And they built rapport, which is so important in this business. If you want to get a good deal, you've got to build rapport. And so they did that, and while we're doing that, the people next door came over to get our card. Said, well, in a few months, I'll be ready to sell my house. So, okay, that's good. So we put this on the contract. We sold it to a brother and sister. And a couple months later, they called me up. And, oh, by the way, on that one, I made $13,000. We did it as an assignment. It was one transaction. My attorney did it. By the way, I had no idea what I was doing. I went to my attorney and said, this is what I put together, please do paperwork. And he did, so it worked out. The wholesaler got $3,000, I got $10,000. Why did you get $10,000? I brought the deal. And I said, yes, but I found the buyer, and I found the attorney, and I made the whole deal happen. Besides, I was in control of the transaction, so I got to keep $10,000. So, and then about a month or two later, the sister called me and she said, do you know where the owner is? I said, sure, I can give you the phone number. I said, why? She said, because when we were taking off the paneling in the kitchen, we discovered this mural that was painted by the family, showing them coming off the boat. And it was a whole family picture on the mural. So they brought Dominic down and he got a picture of it. He didn't even know that it was existing. Isn't that cool? I think it is a cool story, right? And then this building on the right, so Elvira called us up and said, remember me, I'm next door. I said, sure. And I didn't really because I do so much. But anyway. And she said, well, we're ready to sell. And it turned out their family had come off the boat 80 years before from Italy. Their family had lived there for 80 years. And her brother had passed away. He was the last sibling. And she was ready to move to assisted living where her sister was. She was 95 or something. So we came over, and when you have one family living in a three-family house, there is not much to do. It's in great shape. She said to me, well, I'll get all the furniture out. You don't have to worry about that. I said, oh no, that's one of the services that we provide. That's fine. To which I'm thinking, there's a lot of really nice furniture in here. It's one of the great things about real estate. So her nephew negotiated with us a little bit up on the price, but we bought that thing. There was no competition because they already loved us and trusted us, and we got this deal. We held on to this. The market went up, and we sold it. Now, how did we buy this? So Barb was a teacher, and she had 403B, and so we transferred that into a self-directed Roth IRA. So that's a strategy we want to write down. Roth IRAs means you pay for the money up front. You don't have to pay for it.
My favorite phrase is this.
So that's what we did. We took a tax hit when we made that transfer, but then that's how we bought it. All bills go through there. Paid the contractors through there. All the rents went into the Roth IRA. There's some rules and regulations you have to know. And then we sold it, and all that profit went back into that Roth IRA, and we did not have to pay any taxes on the profit on that. So that's the strategy you might want to know. So held on to that one. So income strategies. How do you make these long-term holds better? One is get owner financing if you can, especially if interest rates start to go up. Increase the rents as often as possible. Though I must admit, I'm not too good at raising rents too much over time, so when I first buy the building, I get the highest rent possible. So I go to my friends, the rent-commoners, and I get the highest price possible. And then, of course, you want to reduce any rehabbing and maintenance costs. So, and that's really important if any of us want to buy large apartment buildings, especially bank-owned apartment buildings, because what the banks will do, they're not in the business of property management, so they hire a property management company. Property management company, their job is to make as much money as possible, so they spend as much money as possible on these buildings, so it looks like the expenses are really, really high. So when you buy those, you got to know that you can add value by reducing your expenses, but it certainly helps when you're negotiating. Say, look, you only have this much cash flow. You know that it could be this much higher because they also didn't raise the rents along the way. So you know that you can raise the rents this much and you can reduce the expenses. You can make a lot more profit, but that's something for you to look at in your analysis. Okay, makes sense? So, all right. So, like we said, take care of, for the quick flip stuff, take care of your financial chaos. That's number one. Got to do that. Just discipline yourself to take care of it. Then, I laugh about healthcare because the insurance is going up so high. Learn how to flip something or how to buy and fix and sell. The advantage of wholesaling is this. It requires very little money. I've done it with as little as $100 bill. Anybody? How much do you put down on your wholesale deals? 20 what?
No.
$20? All right. I used to do that. Now I'm at 100. I thought that was good. It requires no credit. Nobody's ever asked me for my credit score when I'm doing one of these deals. I'm in and out really quickly, and I'm not involved with it too much. And you can get anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000 on a wholesale fee. What's your average wholesale fee?
I charge between, depends on the capital property. So if I try to leave on the phone for the investor.
Sure.
But anything that's over 20,000 or return, I'll have 5% off wholesale fee.
5,000? Yeah.
And if it's more, it's the double.
Got it. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a good point. So, a lot of people have $4,000 to $10,000, but even if you only got $1,000 because you don't know what you're doing and you find somebody who wants to sell a house, who's better than you? So, and it generates really quick cash. And of course, if you use the Roth IRA, then you don't have to pay taxes on it. So, the only downside about this, as well as rehabbing, is it's a job. I mean, you're paying top dollar on your taxes. You're always looking for your next deal. It's not passive. One of the things that I like about, I know I sound prejudiced, but I am. The one thing I really like about rental properties is once you get it going, it's passive. So my mom just required a knee replacement surgery, and a year ago she had something else happen, and I was just at the end of my rehab. So yes, I went down there and I spent a couple weeks because everything is automatic. But the whole time I was visiting Mom, I was really worried about the rehab up there. Are my rehabbers doing what they're supposed to do? On and on and on. This time around, I just cruised because my tenants are paying my rent anyway. It doesn't matter whether I'm here or there. They're going to pay the rent. So it's a lifestyle choice. It's very passive if you can make it happen.